And Grueling Truth Sports Network. The Grueling Truth is powered by betting.net. Betting.net is your best bet for finding the online casino or sports book that's right for you. So make sure you check out betting.net. I am your co-host for the show, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in one away. I can't talk today, Steve. One of my other
You
co-hosts,
got a big game today, Mike.
1981 national champion, combined with Isaiah for what was that, 32 points?
26.
26 points. Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good today. You got a big college football game coming on. I know my Fighting Irish against your Bearcats.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good game.
And my Bearcats are going to smack your Notre Dame Fighting Irish today.
They could easily do it. But I tell you what, this is a feisty Notre Dame team that's finding ways to win games that they probably shouldn't have won. But we'll see. Anyway, we have our special guest.
No, I don't introduce him. You just be quiet, Steve.
Oh,
it's Dan
okay.
Kornhauser, NFL beat writer for the Grueling Truth. How you doing, Dan?
What's up, guys? What's up?
Way to be on time, Dan.
Day.
Yeah, Dan, you're late by 5 minutes, buddy.
I'm sorry. I love you guys.
You're just like a Lions fan. You're late. Last week, Dan was actually the winner for the week, 11-5 against the spread. I was 10-6. And Steve, just like his Colts, pulled up the rear at 8-8. Which means for the year, Dan is one game ahead of me and like 100 games in front of Steve. Now, really, 4 games ahead of Steve. Let's go ahead. Let's look at week 4. Of course, we had a Thursday night game, the Bengals and the Jaguars, which I picked right, by the way, and I have the betting slip to pick it with the 7.5 points. But we're going to start off with what I think is one of the games of the week, Dan. The Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are favored by 6 points. What do you think on this game?
That's a pretty fair line. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I like it a lot. St. Louis. Wow. LA is definitely better.
You're not old enough to call them St. Louis. Go ahead.
They're definitely better on both sides.
And do you mean the Cardinals or do you mean the Rams? Because they were both in St. Louis at one point or another.
You're not wrong, but I'm definitely not old enough to remember the Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals? I am. Jim Hart.
Oh, man. Old school. I'm going to go with the Rams -4. They're at home.
Didn't Kurt Warner start at the St. Louis Rams?
Yes, he did.
Thought so.
All right. So Dan is going with the Rams, and he's going to give the 6 points. Steve, Rams or Cardinals?
I'm going to tell you what. Rams are looking. I mean, obviously after last week in an early season game, they handled barely the Buccaneers, but they got Brady, but early in the season, beating Brady's not nearly as important as trying to beat him late in the season. But Rams seem to be clicking on all 8 cylinders right now. Defense is stellar. Matt Stafford has made all the difference in the world offensively. Kupp has turned out to be one of those Edelman type receivers. Just can do anything. The guy's just always in the right spot. I got to take the points and go with the Rams.
All right,
give up the points and go with the Rams.
I'm going to go with the Rams also. I think Matt Stafford is headed to possibly be the NFL MVP. I think the offense he is in is perfect for the way he plays. I think it's a match made in heaven. I mean, right now, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC. They might be the best team in the NFL. I'm going to go with the Rams. My only caveat would be the fact that they're coming off a huge win against the Buccaneers. So this is kind of like the old-time trap game where you're coming off a great performance. Can you do it again? I think the Rams can. I think their defense is a lot better than Arizona's. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to slow down the Rams' offense. I think the Rams win the game. Next up, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. This is another game where everybody changed their damn name, Dan. And Steve, the Chargers are favored by 3.5. The Raiders are undefeated. Justin Herbert's played really well so far this season. Who do you like in this game?
Well, this game's giving the Chargers, what, +3?
No, so the Chargers are -3.5. They're favored by 3.5.
Okay, mine here says +3. This could be outdated. This is a tough call. This is a very tough call because I think statistically and organizationally, the Chargers are a better football team, but the Raiders are just finding stupid ways to win football games. And that makes them a very scary football team. Derek Carr is Mike. I know you're high on Derek Carr as can be, and it's proven its worth right now because Derek Carr is playing almost as well as Stafford is. Probably just doesn't have the offense that Stafford does. But the Chargers universally are a good team. They seem to be well coached. Everybody's fitting together. I got to go with the Chargers in this game, but it's a tough call. But I'll take the Chargers and give up the 3 points, 3.5 points.
All right, I'm going to take the Chargers in this game also. I just believe they have too many weapons for the Raiders defense. I don't think the Raiders defense is that good. I think they're getting by. I mean, basically the Raiders are kind of winning ugly right now, but they have beaten good teams. You had a road win against Pittsburgh, which the Steelers aren't a great team, but at the time they were coming out to win against the Bills. I just think there's a big divide here in overall talent. I think the Chargers defensively are better. Justin Herbert has played well so far. I don't think the Raiders will be able to pressure Herbert, which is why I would say that this would be one of my locks of the week, Dan. I think the Chargers win this game by a touchdown or more.
See, I gotta eat a little crow because last week when the Chargers played the Chiefs, I thought Mahomes was going to go out there do something special.
Hey, I was the only guy that picked the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. I took the Chiefs too. So go ahead. Apologize for.
So I got to eat some crow. I thought Mahomes was going to go out there do something real special. I thought a loss. The offense didn't look quite right. Tyreek Hill didn't look good. He's going to come out and throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Well, I was confused. The Chargers are a great football team on both sides of the ball as long as they're healthy, which they are. And it's tough to go against them right now. I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. It's unfortunate so far. We're in agreement through 2 games. Hopefully we change that up.
Well, if we stay in agreement all year, you'll win by a game over me. So
boring.
And I would like to bring up the fact in the 7 years we've done this show, nobody has beaten me, Steve.
No, that's true. We haven't.
All right, next up, we have the NFL glamour matchup of the week. Sunday night, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 6.5-point dogs. I've actually got that backwards there. Dan, what do you think here? I mean, this is an interesting game.
This is a big game. It's tough to go against Bill Belichick at home. We know what the Patriots are in Foxborough. But I don't like what I've been seeing out of Mac Jones thus far in the season. He looks good on some plays. He looks very much like a rookie on others. They lost James White to a season-ending hip injury. They got a whole bunch of guys who were both questionable or most likely not to play or were limited all week. J.C. Jackson, Jawan Bentley, Kyle Duggar in the secondary, all limited all week. They're all questionable. On the other side, the Bucs are a little more healthier. They're going to be without Gio Bernard, Jamal Dean, and Gronk, but they're just a better team. I don't see Brady going into New England and laying an egg. 6.5, 7 is a little rich, and it feels like a trap. It's a trap, but no, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay in this one.
All right, Steve, you agree?
Yeah, I think this game's overhyped significantly. I don't think really the Patriots are anywhere in the same league as I think the Patriots are probably with Belichick. They're on their way back, but they're still a level below the Bucs at this point in time. Bucs are coming off a stinging tough loss. They don't want to lose another game right now. Brady, if anybody can handle this kind of stuff, when Manning came back to Indianapolis with Denver, Indianapolis won the game, but Manning played outstanding in that game, as I recall, and they actually crowd gave him a standing ovation. I think that this fan base will embellish Brady. I think the Bucs will take this game, give up the points, and take the Bucs.
I think the interesting thing is how will Belichick defend Brady? Nobody knows Belichick or Brady better than Belichick does. I think the Patriots have a really good defense. I think they can stay in this game for a while. I think Tampa Bay has too much firepower. And I think the Mac Jones issue right now is the fact that they really have not turned him loose. He is not – they've taken him and they've played not to lose the game.
Yep.
It's the old Mark Sanchez with the Jets where you go out and tell the guy, don't lose us the game. I think this is a game where for them to have a chance, they got to let Mac Jones play. I think they may not, but in the end, I think Tampa Bay has way too much talent for this New England team. And I do think New England is a possible wild card playoff team. You got the extra playoff team now. You got the extra game. I think Mac Jones will get better as the season goes. And the thing about it is this, though, Dan, what rookie quarterback has looked better than Mac Jones?
All the rookies look pretty trashy thus far. None of them look good. They have their moments. Yeah, Lawrence throws a nice touchdown pass here. Zach Wilson throws a cool across the field pass on the dot, and Mac Jones has his moments where he's leading them downfield, a boom, 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 nice short passes, making good decisions. But none of these guys are looking good right now. It's awful. Jones has got to throw a pass deep in the 15 yards. I'm getting flashbacks of Chad Pennington when it would be 3rd and 9 and they would go for a 5-yard completion with Hackett at their offensive coordinator. This offense is limited severely. They got to open it up if they're going to have any success on offense. It should be an interesting game, but you're right. The Bucks are just too loaded.
All right, next up, we got Steve's Indianapolis Colts against the Miami Dolphins. In there, who's the favorite in this game? Is it Indy by 2.5, or is that wrong?
That's wrong. It's Miami.
That's what I thought. I thought it was Miami by 2.5.
Well, no, Miami by 2.5. Yeah.
We got to change that. That's what happens when you do the show a few days later and you thought you would. All right, Steve. Miami, Indy. Indy is in a must-win. They have to have this game. If they don't, they're going to be sitting at 0-4. 0-4 is not easy to come back from.
I think they're going to be sitting at 0-5 because they go to Baltimore after this game, and right now the Colts are in disarray. Wentz is just not healthy. 2 ankle sprains. He had no mobility last game. It probably won't be a lot better this game. Offensive line, Quentin Nelson's out. He won't be playing this week. The line is underperforming, the worst they have since they've been under Frank Reich. Not getting Taylor any room to run. He only ran for 64 yards, and that was his best game in the output in the first 3 games. Defensively, those guys just look kind of deflated. Leonard and those guys are not playing with the heart that they had. Miami, on the other hand, is a team that I think their coaches got them to the point to where they're having fun, they're going out, and they're playing hard and scrappy and getting after it. I think this is a take Miami and give up the 3 points. Colts are destined at 0-5 right now, I believe. Sadly, as I have my Carson Wentz jersey on, is about ready to throw the damn thing away.
Maybe you could burn it on the show if they go to 0-5.
We might do that. We just might do that.
That's must watch right there.
Yeah, I mean, Steve burning his jersey that he paid too much for from Carson Wentz. All right, this is my thing. I got a lot of crap because I wrote an article saying that the Colts screwed up letting go of Jacoby Brissett. I have said that for 2 years, Steve. I think Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. I know a lot of people
is right now. Yeah.
But I think Jacoby Brissett will prove that this weekend, and I think Jacoby Brissett leads Miami to a touchdown or more win over the Colts, Dan.
It's hard to disagree with you guys. The Indianapolis is also the walking wounded. Kwity Paye is out. Quentin Nelson's out. Braden Smith is out. Rock Ya-Sin is out. Whole bunch of guys. Wentz, as you mentioned. Taylor's questionable. It's just their infirmary room is just overwhelmed at this point. It's just too much. I don't like Jacoby Brissett. This game could be very boring where he throws the ball.
Why don't you like him? What did he ever do to you?
I don't know, man. He's like Jimmy Garoppolo. Only Jimmy wins games and makes it to Super Bowl.
Wait a second. Jacoby Brissett wins games also because the Colts 3 years ago were 6-0, or 2 years ago were 6-0. He got hurt. The wheels fell off. He came back and played still injured, and I think he did take him to the playoffs that year.
It's ugly because in the NFL of today where everything is so wide open, the passing is so wide open, you can't touch quarterbacks, you can't touch receivers, you can't do anything on defense. Everything's a flag, everything's pass interference. Throwing 40 times, completing 60% of your passes and having 200 yards passing and a touchdown is horrid. It's ugly football. I hate it. I hate it so much, but I'm going to go with Miami. -2 is a nice little line.
Maybe we'll find a disagreement now. We've got Washington, the Washington football team, should be known as the Redskins still since they don't have a name yet, at the Atlanta Falcons. The Redskins are favored by 1.5. I'm sorry, the football team. I'm going to take Atlanta in this game. I think Atlanta wins the game straight up. I think the issue right now, Dan, that I see is Washington's defense is not the dominating front seven that we thought they would be. I think this is similar to the game that Atlanta played against the Giants last week. I just think Matt Ryan is the better quarterback, and I think that'll be the difference in this game.
You're not wrong. Washington's defense has been a huge letdown. They allowed, 500 yards to Buffalo last week. That's another one I got to eat crow on. I went with Washington on that one. I thought the line was too big. I was confused, which is weird because I do have Josh Allen and Diggs on a stack on my fantasy team. But that's neither here nor there. But no, I'm going to agree with you. Their defense has been pretty bad thus far. It's not quite right. The injuries aren't really a big deal here. Russell Gage is still out for Atlanta. Marlon Davidson's out, but nobody really special. Fun thing, Curtis Samuel was activated off the IR for Washington. So he'll be in there in some degree this week, which is a nice upgrade for them. They've had nothing on offense besides Scary Terry and Antonio Gibson. So they'll welcome him back with open arms. But this is a weird game because I want to go with Atlanta. But they suck. Their offensive line.
So does Washington, though.
Their offensive line is so bad. Their defense is so bad. They just can't get it together. I'm going to go with Washington, begrudgingly. I'm going to go with Washington here. I could really see Atlanta winning it, but they always have a tendency to lose these kinds of games in just disappointing fashion.
All right, I want to remind everybody, The Grueling Truth is powered by Betting.net. Find the best place to bet for you. Betting.net offers expert and user reviews for every online sportsbook and casino in your state. Betting.net finds the best promotion, discounts, and bonus codes so you don't have to. Head over to their website now to take advantage of things like free bets and matching deposits. Steve, what do you think? Washington, Atlanta.
I'm going to echo what Dan said. I just have no faith in Atlanta. I think Atlanta is the better team, but I have no faith in them to perform. And I don't know why I have any faith in Washington, but I just think Washington is just poised to win one here. And I think this is almost one of those who cares games just because neither team is playing well enough. But I'm going to take the 1.5 points in Washington and go that direction just because I agree with Dan. I think Atlanta just will find a way to peak on themselves. I think they're a better team, but I think they'll find a way to peak on themselves.
All right, next up, the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are -3 here. Dan, you're a Lions fan. You had to be heartbroken last week on a 66-yard field goal that pops over the crossbar, especially after the delay of game penalty that got ignored. I don't think it's any coincidence Lamar Jackson was the quarterback on the team that was the benefit of that. The Detroit Lions were the team that was on the bad end of it.
Yeah, no surprise at all. That's a typical Lions game. As a Lions fan,
it's a typical NFL game. Lions get screwed.
It's a typical Lions game. I see it every week or every other week. Something crazy goes down from the Calvin Johnson no touchdown against Chicago years ago to Ndamukong Suh's invisible late hit on a guy.
Well, Calvin Johnson against Dallas in the playoffs.
Calvin against Dallas in the play. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I've seen it time and time again. A 66-yard field goal. I called it too. I was watching the game with my buddies, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna hit this."
Oh, so did I. You know what I thought about when he's trying that? I thought about Tom Dempsey, 63 yards, Saints Lions. Same thing. The Lions lose to the longest field goal in history.
So I'm not that upset. I want the Lions to lose every single game this year, get the first pick. They'll probably still blow that anyway in a weak draft, but it is what it is. Chicago, on the other hand, they're a mess, man. We still don't know if Dalton's playing. Fields has looked just so bad in so many ways. They got to get together at some point. Both teams are dealing with a slew of injuries. Nothing special or crazy. Trey Flowers is out for the Lions. Best player. DeAndre Swift is questionable with a groin injury, but he's going to play. I'm not worried about him at all. -3 for the Bears. I'm going to go with the Lions in this one, man. This might be the last time I pick the Lions all season if they don't win this game.
Okay, we got a Detroit Lion pick and a guy that should know better. It's like when I picked the Bengals.
I
know better.
I should. Watch Fields go out there and throw for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, run for 80, and just
That's not going to happen.
Our defense. It wouldn't surprise me. Watch him make it look like it's Ohio State. We suck, but I digress.
Well, I would say here the big thing to me picking this game is who's going to be the starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. Because to me, if it's Andy Dalton, I'm taking the Bears. If it's Justin Fields, I'm taking the Lions. I'm going to take the Lions.
Woo!
Just because I respect Dan so much that I want to see his team actually win a game this year. Steve, Lions, Bears.
I'm taking the Lions as well. I'm going to take my 3 points and take the Lions. I think they're probably riding a little high off of last week.
Yeah, because only the Lions would ride high off of losing a game.
Well, but it's a game that how they lost it is.
Well, you know what I do like about the Lions?
There should have been a delay of game penalty called. And I think that's discussed in the locker room and from a motivational standpoint. And the Lions looked decent last week.
You know, this is the thing for me with the Lions. The reason I'm taking the Lions over the Bears here is number one, the quarterback situation in Chicago. We don't know what it is. But the main thing to me is when I watch the Lions play, I think their head coach has done a good job, Dan. They play hard. They don't give up, and they always fight back. They just don't have the weapons yet to really do much with it.
I laughed at that introductory press conference. I texted my best friend, and I was just ripping Campbell apart, ripping the Lions apart. I couldn't be more upset with that coaching selection. I wanted Staley, the Chargers head coach, in the worst way. But I must say, 4 games in, the Lions aren't winning games. But at least, like you said, they're playing hard. They're not shooting themselves in the foot like I'm used to seeing. They're not committing stupid penalties. It's a nice change of pace. They're still losing games because they're talent deficient, but it's nice to watch.
Well, how about this? Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I just going to say, I think that the coach has got Goff playing within his capabilities too right now. I mean, he's in Los Angeles. They wanted to go deep all the time. They had the receiving core to do it. Goff isn't that type of quarterback. So far from the times I've seen the Lions play, they've got Goff more on a short yardage program, dumping over, using his tight ends a little bit more, and keeping himself in his circle of ability. Good. And I think they're getting the most they can get out of Goff, and he's being fairly efficient at what he's doing.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got the Tennessee Titans at the New York Jets. Dan, the Titans have a lot of injury issues coming in this game, and the Jets are 7.5-point dogs, as once again, I have screwed up the writing there, so we'll have to change that. But tell us about the injury issues with Tennessee.
Oh, my God. There's so many injuries with Tennessee. They're another team, the walking wounded. Must be hashtag AFC South problems. Caleb Fairley, their corner, is out for week 4. Their punter is out. Julio Jones and A.J. Brown are both out, both with hamstrings. Star pass rusher Bud Dupree is out with a knee injury. All 3 of them are expected. All of them are expected to be back next week. But that's a lot of firepower to be without. The Titans' passing game have been struggling thus far anyway, and now they're down to practice squad guys and rookies and stuff like that. It's ugly. This is gonna be an ugly game. The Titans are gonna run the ball 40 times, and I don't think the Jets are good enough to make any noise. 7.5 is a crazy line, though. It really is, considering what we might see. We might see a 17-14 or 13 game if the Jets can even score that many points. This is an ugly game. I'm gonna go with the Titans on this one. Just assume they run the ball down the Jets' throat and get out of there with a 10-0 win or 13-3 win. It's ugly.
All right, this is my thing on this game. I think the thing people miss is this. Tennessee's defense is really bad.
It's so
And
bad.
when you've got to give 7.5 points, I just think the value here is with the Jets, as crazy as it sounds. I'm
Mhm.
going to take the Jets into points. And actually, with the odds that would be on this game for a straight up Jets win, don't be surprised if the Jets win this football game. Steve?
Having learned it and experienced it last week, and the Colts ended up only losing by 3. But as long as you've got Derrick Henry in the game, you got a chance to win a football game, especially against a team like the Jets. Now, I'll give you that. If Derrick's going against the Rams or something like that, it's a different story. But if you've got a healthy Derrick Henry running the ball, and actually Tannehill is the second best runner on that team right now, and getting yardage and probably as many yards running as he is throwing, and they're earning it on their own. They're not getting a lot of help from line blocking. But as long as you got Derrick Henry running the ball, you're in the ball game. And I think the Titans take this game.
All right. I think the Titans will probably win the game. But I'm saying value-wise, if you're going to look for a big upset, that would be here. And my other thing is this is the NFL. And with the receivers that are missing, you can throw 8 guys in the box, 9 guys in the box, and try to take Derrick Henry away and make Tannehill beat you without 2 of the best receiving threats there. I think there's things that can be done here. I think the Jets, Zach Wilson, whatever the hell his name is, he's not going to be in the NFL that long. If he's ever going to look good, it's going to be against this Tennessee defense.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, normally I would agree with you, except too many times I get to see Tennessee play a lot because they play the Colts twice a year. And I now have NFL Direct TV Sunday ticket, so I will be watching every Colts game for the rest of the year. How dumb is that?
That's pretty stupid. What was it, like $300?
But I've seen a lot of teams throw 8 in the box against Derrick Henry, and the guy still comes up with 8 or 9 yards. It takes that long to drag him down.
Yeah, but the thing is this. I mean, 8 or 9 yards a pop, you got to go 80 yards. You need 10 or 12 plays with nothing that throws you off schedule. No holdings, no anything. I just think that, to me, this game screams.
Right.
So ugly.
Yeah, I mean, it screams ugly. And when it screams ugly and I'm getting 7.5 points, I'm going to take it. Next up, the Cleveland Browns at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 1.5 point underdogs here, Steve. What do you think?
I tell you what, I think right now the difference maker in this game, and I know Dan will have a lot of input into this as well, but I think Kirk Cousins is playing better football than Baker Mayfield right now. And other than that, I think Cleveland's got a lot of juice. They're a real giddy football team. But Minnesota really hasn't gotten blown out and has been pretty much in every game, even though I think they're 1-2, aren't they?
Yeah, Minnesota could easily be 3-0. They lost in overtime to the Bengals week 1. They lost a close game in week 2. So I think Minnesota, the thing that's scary is it's not necessarily Kirk Cousins is playing better than Baker Mayfield. I don't believe that to be true. But what I do believe to be, what I know is true is right now Kirk Cousins is rolling with more weapons because you got injuries on the Browns at wide receiver. You got Justin Jefferson out there. You got Dalvin Cook if he's healthy. Even if he's not, hell, his backup comes in and runs for 150 yards. So I think this is the best game of this weekend.
I agree. And since I got rudely interrupted, I'll just give my prediction. I'll take Minnesota and the 1.5 points. Now you can go, Mike. And I didn't get to make my prediction.
Dan, did you think that was rudely interrupted, or do you think it added something to the show before Steve's pick?
Honestly, I'm used to always being interrupted in things, so people interrupting really doesn't.
That's not what we're asking you. You never get interrupted.
Exactly what he was. He said he gets interrupted too.
See, you only get interrupted here if I won. I just wanted to disagree with your point, and I figured it would be best to do it.
And you would have gotten the entire platform had I finished and made my prediction. Then I would have said, Mike, up to you now. What do you think? And you'd have been able to say the whole same thing without rudely interrupting.
But I would rather rudely interrupt because I'd rather hear you whine like a little bitch.
It is your show. It is the Mike.
Don't forget that either, Steve. Don't forget that.
I'm reminded every day when I get a text from you.
How's that?
Just remember, it's my show.
I've never texted you that, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to. It's obvious. All right, Dan, we both got Minnesota. We're taking the 1.5. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with Cleveland. My biggest question is Dalvin Cook, and is he going to be healthy enough? He was limited all week. Last week he didn't practice at all, so it'll be interesting to see how healthy he is in this one. He's everything they need on offense. I know Madison, their backup, had a really good week last week, but Cleveland's a good squad, man. Baker doesn't really make any mistakes. That ground game is lethal, and I'm not really worried about injuries on either side. Chris Hubbard, the tackle for the Browns, is out, but other than that, nothing special. I'm going to go with Cleveland.
All right, guys, remember the grueling truth is powered by betting.net. Betting.net is constantly producing new articles which are published weekly, reviewing different online operators and their latest promotions. Betting.net is not just sports betting. Betting.net is also your gateway to the best online casinos. Sit back, relax, and have fun with online slots, poker, or table games. Steve, I know you like online slots, right?
No, I love blackjack.
Okay, I didn't know you could count to 21, Steve. Next up, the Carolina Panthers at the Dallas Cowboys. That was mean, Steve. I fully apologize. The Cowboys are favored by 4.5 points. Dan, what do you think?
This is going to be a good game. Carolina's been playing really well. They're not dealing with any injuries either, which is nice, unlike Dallas, which has got a bunch of injuries. One of which is Randy Gregory, who was limited in practice on Friday. Is he going to be playing, Steve?
You'll have to ask Steve because Steve talked to him like minutes ago.
Yeah, he's playing.
He's playing. So Randy Gregory's playing. We're going to need to see that Dallas defense do something, but I want to see Sam Darnold step up, this whole offense step up with McCaffrey out. And I want to see them go toe-to-toe with an offense that can score at will. The Carolina's defense has been right, so it should be a nice little chess match for Dallas. 4.5 is also a little ugly. I hate it. I'm not gonna lie, I hate it a lot. This is another tough one for me. I'm leaning Dallas. I'm gonna go Dallas.
All right, Steve, agree or disagree?
I agree. I Dallas, to me, I'm the one who said keep your eye on Dallas. Randy told me early in preseason.
Randy didn't tell you anything, Steve, but go ahead.
And, this is a team that I think has improved itself every day. They played some good football teams and come out, and I think their offense is clicking. It's a high-scoring, high-potent offense that may be the second best offense in the NFL right now, behind the Rams. I think you got to give the Rams a nod over them, but right behind them right now. As long
I
as
would interrupt you, but I'm not going to. Go ahead.
Okay. I think that offense is clicking in a lot of different places. They can score. As long as they stay healthy, I think they're good. And I think this is a football team that's going to get better and better and better all season, and is going to be a team that nobody wants to play in the playoffs. Plus, they're playing in Dallas, which that city hasn't had really a lot to cheer about in the last 2 or 3 years with the Cowboys. And I just think this game goes. I think the spread 4.5 is not enough, truthfully. I think Dallas covers that easily.
I think go ahead.
I would say the Cowboys are coming off a great win off of Philly. They dominated, won by 20, and that offense looked stellar. I said coming into the week they needed to give Zeke the rock. You're paying this man all this money, feed him. Enough with Pollard. Pollard's a great change of back guy, and he averaged 5.5 yards last week on 60 yards. But Zeke, 17 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches and 21 through the air. That's what you need from your back. And if Prescott's going to be completing 70 to 80% of his passes, good luck, Carolina.
Well, and the thing is this, Dallas has the best offense in football. They're worlds better than the Rams, I think, Steve, just because of the Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. I think the big divide between those two teams is there. I think Dak Prescott, he's got weapons out the ass. Dallas right now, to me, is the second best team overall in the NFC. I would go Rams first because of the Rams defense. But I think the Cowboys are sitting 2 right now. The only thing is with the Cowboys, since Jimmy Johnson left, a lot of times they'll look like this for a while, and then they fall flat on their face. I really don't think that's going to happen to this team just because of the offense. I like the Cowboys also. I'll give the 4.5 points all day long. Next up, the New York Giants will travel to New Orleans to battle the Saints. The Saints are 7.5-point dogs. The Giants just lost to the Falcons. I think the Saints will pound the rock. I think Jameis Winston will not have to force anything. He'll throw a couple touchdown passes. I think the Saints win this game easily, Steve.
I agree.
All right,
I can't add any more. I agree.
Okay, Dan?
I mean, short and sweet. Both teams are dealing with some big injuries. The Giants will be without two of their top 3 receivers. Shepard and Slayton are out. Kadarius Toney played last week, didn't play well. Jameis Winston's got to do better, but they're going to be without their starting center and their starting left tackle in Eric McCoy and Teron Armstead. This is going to be another one of those ugly games, but the Giants look so bad lately. 7.5 is a big line, but Danny Dimes is going to have to come out and do something special. Barkley's got to break out. Something's got to happen. That defense has got to be better. They got to get it together, but I don't think this is going to be the week. I'm going to take New Orleans.
All right, right now, Kansas City at Philadelphia. The line runs anywhere from 6 to 7-point dogs for the Eagles. When I look at this, I just think this. Philadelphia should be playing Gardner Minshew because he's a lot better than Jalen Hurts. Kansas City wins this game by more than a touchdown, Dan.
I said last week that the Chiefs were going to blow them out, win by 14 points. I think I was off by a week. Sorry,
Remember,
guys.
I picked the Chargers last week. Go ahead.
You did. And we need to start giving Justin Herbert some love. He picked up some huge 4th downs. He made big plays in big spots.
I think the big thing there, he played fine. That's fine. But the difference between the Chargers and the Chiefs and why I picked them last week is defensively.
I mean, you're not wrong. That Chargers defense is right. When they're healthy, they're one of the best units. I love seeing them do well. But yeah, in this one, Kansas City is not going to lay an egg again. They can't, right? It's Philly. They can't lose again.
But this is the thing. I don't think they laid an egg against the Chargers. I just think the Chargers are a better team. Kansas City is the better team here. Kansas City wins the game. Jalen Hurts might be able to look pretty good this week because the Chiefs' defense is terrible, which worries me about the 6-7 points, Steve. But I don't see any way to pick Philadelphia off what we've seen from them so far this year.
Yeah, I agree. And before little sidebar, the rumors or the chatter's already starting about Chargers, Rams in the Super Bowl at SoFi. There you go. The I-405 Super Bowl.
Oh boy.
Well, and then Eminem and Snoop Dogg will be halftime.
Yeah, Eminem and Snoop Dogg and Mary J. Blige will be halftime.
That's more of the BET Awards, I think, than it is Super Bowl halftime.
I agree with that. But anyway.
And that's not a shot at it. I mean, I'm just saying.
An interesting stat I was reading up on the Chiefs, 13 times that the opponents have gotten into the red zone this season on the Chiefs. The opponents have scored on 12 of those times. Wow. So it says the Chiefs defense in the red zone area, they're not stopping the ball. They're not stopping people from getting in the end zone at all. And it's kind of a moniker I've always kind of taken on about the Chiefs with Mahomes back there. They're going to outscore you. They're going to play that brand.
Yeah, but remember this. The one time they won the Super Bowl, Steve-O, was the one time their defense played really well at the end of the year. Because without that defense, you can't outscore people and win a Super Bowl.
Right, and they're Super Bowl champs. Right now, they're what? They're what's their record? 1-2?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not – right now, they're not a Super Bowl team. I think you can't rule them out for the Super Bowl this early in the season. But, there are several teams in the AFC, Chargers, Buffalo – you can go through a litany of teams right now.
Hell, right now, Steve, they're 2 games behind the Raiders. They're 2 games behind Denver. I mean, if they were to lose another game here,
they're in jeopardy.
They're in trouble. Yeah,
they're in trouble. So, but I think that I think the firepower of Kansas City is still too strong. Philadelphia didn't show me a lot against Dallas. I got to give up the 6 points and take Kansas City in this game.
All right, now here's a point spread that's more akin to Super Bowl III. The Houston Texans are 16.5-point underdogs to the Buffalo Bills. This is a ton of points. Last week it was a ton of points, and the Bills covered it. Do they cover it again, Steve?
I tell you, I hate 16.5-point spreads.
It's a lot.
But there's no doubt Buffalo's going to win this game. I don't think that's even a question. But I'm going to tell you what. Buffalo seems to be getting a little better each week after their opening season loss. And I'm going to stick my neck out there and give up the 16.5 and take Buffalo in this game.
Do you agree, Dan?
It's hard.
That's tough,
I
man.
know.
16.5, 17
I know.
points. They just blew out Washington.
They're capable of putting the points on the board.
You know what? I'm going to go with Buffalo, man. I'm going to go with Buffalo. Davis Mills at quarterback is a disaster. Even though Buffalo's going to be without John Feliciano, their starting guard, and Jordan Poyer, their starting safety, I don't think it matters. I think Allen might go crazy again, go for, 500 yards of offense for that team, but Allen should have 3 or 4 total touchdowns, and they should handle business.
My worry on the spread here is this. No matter who the Texans have played, they haven't lost that bad to anybody. They played Cleveland tough. They actually missed a field goal that would have put them down a touchdown, under 10 minutes left in the game. They lost by 15 to the Panthers. That was at home. They, of course, beat the Jaguars. The thing to me that sticks out about the Texans is I think they've played hard so far. I'm going to go Houston. I'm going to take the points.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to lose 30-16. But I just think that's a lot of points to give up. Yeah. Buffalo just covered that once. You got to question whether, maybe they lose a little interest playing teams like this. I think Buffalo, no doubt, wins the game. But I think 16.5 points is too much because, guys, this could be a game that's 30-10, and you get a cheap touchdown on the last play of the game, and you just covered the point spread. So I'm going to take the 16.5. I don't think by any chance Houston has a chance to win. I'm going to take the points. Next up,
Mike. Let me just say, it's almost like in this game there really is no wrong pick or no right pick. It's just where the ball what the score is at the end of the game.
That's probably every game, Steve.
Well, but no, this one's like 50-50 either way. When you start
a line, yeah.
None of us can safely predict which way the score is going to go, because definitely Buffalo's capable of doing it. But you're right, Houston's not a team that lays down. They lose, but they don't lay down. So it's going to be a fun game if you're playing spreads. That's what makes that game really a good game to watch and fun, is not who's going to win the game, but who's going to cover the spread. Sorry for eloquating.
And interrupting me. I know yes. Dan noticed that because he texted me, God, this guy keeps interrupting you. Next up,
rude.
Seattle at San Francisco. The 49ers are favored by 2.5. I'm going to go with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks here. I think they're going to win the game straight up. Don't know why I feel that, other than, it's just a feeling. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I'm going to take the 2.5 points, Dan.
I'm going to take every opportunity I can to verbally abuse the two of you when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo. He's trash. You guys are old fogies.
You know what?
You're trash. For his winning.
You're trash. Your name is Dan. Your name's Dan.
But. Dan rhymes with man, and I'm awesome.
So, no, Mike, I'm more worried that his last name is Kornhauser.
Yeah, I know. What the hell is that?
I talked to that goofball one time.
It's not the same Korn. It's not Kornheiser.
I don't care. It's the same last name.
Same thing. Might as well be.
Yeah. It's like having a last name of Vic.
Just the worst. We don't want to go through that again. But neither team is dealing with any sort of crazy or special injuries here. Neither team's going to miss anybody of importance, it looks like. Tyler Lockett has a hip injury, and he's questionable. I'd be surprised if he's not out there. Same thing with DK Metcalf. Metcalf was limited in practice on Thursday and on Friday with a foot injury. He doesn't even have his designation. So I think both of those guys will be playing. The 49ers running back situation is ugly. They're another team with a bunch of questionable tags. And honestly, at the end of the day, I just don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't trust him. And Seattle's the better team.
That's that's stupid. If you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, game 1, 17 for 25, 314 yards, a touchdown, quarterback rating of 124. Against Philadelphia, at Philadelphia, 22 for 30, 189 and a touchdown, a quarterback rating of 100.6.
And what
the game he lost, he was 25 for 40, 2 touchdowns, a pick, a quarterback rating of 87. His quarterback rating this year is over 100, and you say he's terrible.
But he looked not good last week. He looked very, very underwhelming last week. Yeah, he made a couple of good throws.
You know what makes this really stupid? You're a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah, so
You've
I know
seen
what
real bad
looks like.
quarterbacks. Yeah, and that's not bad. You would kill for somebody that could do something decent.
I'd rather have Goff.
Dan, do you see how he always takes it personal?
I didn't take anything personal. Dan
he degraded down to you're a Detroit Lions fan.
You know what? He called you an old bogus.
That's what happens with him every time. When he's losing an argument,
I didn't lose an argument.
He takes it personal.
Steve, you would never know when I lost an argument because in the 5 or 6 years we've done these shows, I never lost an argument.
See, he makes it personal.
Yeah, because you're an idiot.
You can't keep it on the playing field.
Hey, Steve, are you going to pick
Seattle? Follow you into the locker room.
Look, he's still running his mouth.
And he'll spit in your locker. He'll piss in your locker.
Yeah,
and do everything because he'll make it personal.
Rude.
Well, you played for Coach Knight. He pissed and shit in your locker. So what the hell? Are you going to pick the game? Seattle and San Francisco.
He doesn't know. He never was in my locker with me and Knight.
Knight's probably the way. He probably put tampons in your locker too.
No, he never put tampons in my locker. He never did that. I guarantee you. He knows I'd knock the fuck out of him if he did.
You're so full of shit, Risley. You wouldn't knock the fuck out of anybody.
Uh-huh.
You're a basketball player. You ever see a basketball player fight? They throw punches like that.
Go ask Kevin Boyle how many stitches he got because he tried to take out Isaiah.
Yeah, another basketball player. Another basketball. You beat up another basketball player, Steve. Good job. Bully.
Mike is taking shots today on this beautiful
Seattle
day.
at the 49ers.
Anyway, I'm angry. I'm going to take the 49ers because I think Garoppolo is a big-time quarterback. I think he can carry a team. He took a team to the Super Bowl. He's got capabilities. He's been inconsistent, but he's on a team that's been inconsistent too. So maybe if Garoppolo had gone to the Rams, we'd see a Stafford-type performance. And I'm not taking anything away from Matt Stafford.
I like Garoppolo, but he's not Matt Stafford.
I was trying to say that, Mike.
Then why did you even broach the subject to begin with?
Blasphemy.
I think that he would give that kind of performance.
Hear that? Dan called you stupid.
Elevating his game higher than it is, just like Stafford has done. Stafford has elevated himself into the upper echelon quarterback in the NFL. Like you said, possibly MVP, justifiably, if he gets it.
Well,
and I think
the best
Garoppolo's that type of quarterback that could make that kind of move too if he got to a team that could support his talents.
Wait a second. So the 49ers don't have a team to support his talents? The 49ers have one of the best rosters in the NFL.
Right, but they're perennially
they're in bad shape right now.
The last 2 years,
San
the Niners have been killed by
giving up the 2.5. I think Garoppolo's going to have a big game.
All right.
I have no beef against Seattle. I think they're a yeoman's football team. They play hard. I think Russell Wilson is going to have a breakout, not a breakout, but a great year. I just think the game's in San Francisco. I think home team comes into play here a little bit, and San Francisco takes this game or covers the spread by 2.5.
All right, next up, I think one of the most interesting games of the week, Baltimore at Denver. Dan, you're the one that told us to watch out for Denver. You were right. See, I don't have a problem admitting when somebody's right. It's just never Steve that I say that to. Denver is favored by a point right now. Lamar Jackson's status is up in the air. He's questionable right now.
Wait a minute. Am I the one that said Dallas was the team to watch?
Did he just interrupt me again?
Mike just said.
And I gave you credit for that last week.
Dallas is the second best team in the NFC.
Did I not tell Steve last week that I was giving him credit for that?
He did give you some love.
Okay. So shut up, Steve. Baltimore, Denver. Denver's favored by a point. Lamar Jackson is questionable. What do you think, Dan?
That's more love than I get from my wife.
Are you going to keep interrupting us? It's probably because of how big and ugly your face is. I mean, look at the size of your head, Steve. It takes up over half of your camera.
Like a satellite.
And you got a Carson Wentz jersey. I mean, that's not going to make a woman want you. That's just going to make her feel sad for you. Go ahead,
man. I'm going to tell you what. You are talking your way into a loss this evening.
I would say, or when she sees it, she might hate it so much that she demand he take it off and then things get good for
sure. Then she sees what he looks like with it off because he's old, so like his boobs are probably hanging off his belly button, and she tells him, "Nah, just put it back on."
Oh my God! All right, so wait, what is the line? -1? Baltimore.
What
at
game are we
Denver?
talking about?
I know. I forgot at this
Having
point.
too much fun.
Way too much. So, in terms of injuries for Denver, the only big one is Graham Glasgow, the starting guard for him. Other than that, got a bunch of limited practices this week, a bunch of questionables. You know, no one that we don't know who's already been out is going to be out. It looks like. Baltimore, on the other hand, got some big problems. Aside from Lamar Jackson, who he did fully practice on Friday, and he's got the questionable tag. I fully expect him to play, but the big question is on the offensive line. Ronnie Stanley is out with an ankle injury. He's expected to be back in week 5, but they're dealing with a bunch of injuries on both sides of the ball to a bunch of starters. Stanley, Marlon Humphrey in the secondary. He was with a knee injury. He practiced fully on Friday. He's been out all week. Derek Wolfe on the D-line. Tavon Young also, their nickelback. So a lot of questionable marks and stuff like that. As long as Jackson plays a full game and is not limited physically in any way, Baltimore should win this game. And it's close enough where I don't mind picking Baltimore in a defensive struggle. But
All right, so
I really like Denver.
So who are you picking? My God, you just picked both teams.
I'm going to go with Baltimore. I like me some Denver, but I'm going to go with Baltimore.
Well, that's a stupid pick. All right. I'm taking Denver. They're better. They got a better defense. Teddy Bridgewater's playing very well. Lamar Jackson is still overrated. Last week, 16 for 31. An NFL quarterback that can't complete 60% of his passes is an issue. I don't think it's all Lamar's fault. I don't think they've given him enough weapons. They never have. I like Denver. It's at Denver. Broncos win this game, Steve.
I agree. I'm taking Denver. To me, it's a toss-up game.
It is
only 1 point spread.
Literally flip a coin.
Flip a coin, but I'm going to go with Denver. Home field advantage plays, and I think Bridgewater is more consistent. Although Lamar Jackson is a lot like Derrick Henry. Bringing that guy down and getting a hold of him is not an easy task for any defense. And I've seen him run all over teams all season long in the first 3 games when I've had ability to watch him play. So, but I think Denver overall will win this game.
All right, remember, before we get to our final game, Pittsburgh Green Bay, the grueling truth is powered by betting.net. Betting.net is your best bet for finding the online casino or sports book that's right for you. Not just sports betting. Betting.net is also your gateway to online casinos, to the best ones. You can sit back, relax like Risley does. He sits in his underwear. He plays online slots, poker, other table games. Of course, they cut Risley off at 10 because at the nursing home, it's bedtime at 10. So make sure you check out betting.net for all your sports betting.
Mike, I got to tell you, that was good.
Thank you, Steve.
That made me laugh. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. It was nice. And, I mean, it's just nice that they let you use the office.
Especially since my wife is a marketing director for a nursing home, 3 nursing homes. She's a marketing director, and she's down there right now having people move in. Got 3 new clients coming in. I told her to reserve a 2-bedroom suite for her and I.
Why? So, she doesn't look old and decrepit like you.
I know, but we can go down. It's in Hollywood, City View, right in Hollywood.
You know,
right on Melrose Avenue.
You know, Steve, it's 2:30. I think Murder, She Wrote's on, so you can get on your plastic.
No, it's only 11:30 here.
No, you got to say it like who Pat Summerall used to. Murder, She Wrote.
Murder?
Because you got that little, you get the semicolon there. You remember that, Steve? Yeah. Pat Summerall and John Madden. Tonight at 8 o'clock. After 60 minutes,
I'm more into Tom. I'm more into Tom Brookshire.
Well, he was always drunk, though. All right, next up, the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Green Bay, Lambeau Field. The Steelers are underdogs by 7 points. I think this is a easy pick here. Green Bay wins this game. Pittsburgh's a little bit of disarray. What's the injury situation for the Steelers, Dan?
So they're another team with a bunch of problems, and a big one that came out today. Chase Claypool had a hamstring injury he suffered during the week at practice. He is out this week, and we know Deontay Johnson, their other receiver, is coming off of injury. Same thing with Juju. Juju Smith has been knocked around with injuries. So they've got a pretty nice list there. Also throw in Chukwuma Okorafor. I'm terrible with names.
It's obvious, Dan. That's why your parents named you Dan, because it's the only thing you can pronounce.
You remember Reuben Drones, the running back for the Broncos and the Lions and a bunch of other teams? The first time I had a high school radio show with my buddy, and the first time I said his name on the airwaves, I said Reuben Drugans, and I haven't heard the end of it. And that was
so you've been on podcasts before, is what you're telling me.
And I still suck, but here we are. I love it.
No, I was just going to say how good you are.
The Steelers got a bunch of injuries.
Wait, it's coming, Dan. Unlike me.
Unlike you, what? I think you're awesome, Steve. Go ahead, Dan.
There you go. But Green Bay's got their own series of injuries. Zadarius Smith is on IR with a back injury. Elgin Jenkins didn't practice Friday. Neither did Kevin King. They're both doubtful this weekend. Marcus Valdez-Scantling is out for the.
You said that well, though.
Valdez-Scantling. I'm used to hearing it when he burns the Lions during Packers games. But
everybody burns the Lions.
I'm going to go with Green Bay since that week one fluke. Rodgers has completed 70% of his passes, 6 touchdowns, no picks, and a 133.7 QB rating, just on fire. And on the flip side for the Steelers, last year they started undefeated, and in the 8 games since that win streak has ended, they're 2-6. They're the league's worst rushing attack. And Roethlisberger's averaging just 6.15 yards per attempt, and he's got 11 interceptions to 15.
I would give Big Ben this, though. I watched him against the Bengals, and their receivers are terrible. They probably dropped 7 passes in that game. I don't think it's really Big Ben's fault. I don't think Big Ben is playing that bad. I just don't think they have any help, and everybody says week 1 was a fluke against Buffalo. I don't think it was. I think when Fitzpatrick, all these guys are healthy, TJ Watt, I think the Steelers might have the best defense in football. You take that away, though, you've got an offense that's probably in the bottom 5 or 10 at best. So with no defense, you're pretty much dead in the water there.
You're not wrong, but
I never am.
I'm gonna go with Green Bay on this one. The -7 is just enough for me.
All right, Steve, do you agree with us, or are you going to go with the Steelers?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with Green Bay. I think that Rodgers is smelling blood. I think, like Dan said, since the first game, he's getting better every game, and he's maybe gotten back into it. Kind of, we all had this feeling coming into the season he didn't want to be in Green Bay, didn't want to play, and we didn't know what to expect. But I think he's gotten back into football now, and I don't think he cares what the color of his uniform is right now. He wants another MVP award, and right now he's showing it. So.
All right, guys. So we will be back at our normal time Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Sound good, guys?
I'll be there.
What are the what's the over under on that?
Well, I mean, it's up to Dan because he screwed it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Instead of the over under, what's the Dan call on that?
Dan, is 8 o'clock all right with your wife? Have you asked her yet?
I'll be there.
Okay. What if your wife says you can't, like last time?
I'll be there.
Okay. So, wife permitting, Dan will be with us at 8 o'clock Wednesday night. Remember, betting.net is building a community of like-minded individuals who could share their experiences in order to create a safe gambling environment for all. Make sure you check out betting.net. You can actually find articles written by outstanding writers such as myself on betting.net also. And Dan, you should start writing too. I can hook you up maybe.
Yeah, I'm actually working on some NBA stuff for the upcoming season. Pretty excited about that. So you could look out for some NBA previews and predictions from me coming up in the next few weeks. All
right, guys. You can follow Steve Risley at srisley34.
Hey, Dan?
Yeah.
Can you write in Chinese?
Cincinnati's playing Notre Dame, kicking off in like 3 minutes.
No, wait, Dan, can you write in Chinese?
I wish.
Well, if you can't, then you can't write about the NBA.
Oh, no, why not?
Because China's buying the NBA.
Oh, no.
China's done bought the whole damn country, Steve. What
I
are
know.
you talking
They're
about?
buying the NBA.
Gross. Well, good for them, I guess.
Words. Within 5 years, they will have 4 teams in China and NBA teams.
Okay. I don't think they will. But
That's a lot.
Because what they'll do is they'll have to do that because they got to send one NBA team over there to play for a month and play all 4 teams in a home, back to back to back to back to back, and then come back to the United States.
I hate that so much. It sounds awful.
That's going to happen.
I hate it.
Steve's usually wrong, so don't worry about it, Dan. All right, you can follow Dan on.
Hey, Randy
Twitter.
Gregory told me that.
Randy Gregory didn't tell you a damn thing, Steve. Where can we follow you on Twitter, Dan?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. It's at DB Talking Sports. D as in Dan, B as in Bob. And follow us. I'll follow you back. Hop in those DMs. Ask me questions. I'm there.
All right, guys. You can follow me at Grilling Truth. How many followers do you have on Twitter, Dan?
Like 20, 30, something like that.
So go follow Dan. I got 27,000. What do you got, Risley?
I got maybe 800.
There you go. So you smoked Dan. All right, guys. We have somebody commented in the chat room. No viewers, LOL. I don't know.
Why, dude, cross-eyed?
I don't know.
Who's cross-eyed?
I don't know. Dan, are you cross-eyed?
I can be.
I don't know. But he says no viewers, but we got like 50 different things I'm looking at to total over 1,000. So dude can kiss my ass. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap the show up.
Oh, this guy's got an attitude. What's wrong with Daniel? Daniel Roman won at
Daniel Roman 11 at Wood Lake BVD.
Boulevard. Boulevard? No, it'd be BLVD.
Wood Lake sounds like a nursing home.
No kidding.
He might be right down the hall from you, Steve.
He might be, although I'm not in Wood Lake Boulevard.
And actually, if we had no viewers, Dan, how is that possible if you're watching, you dumbass? All right, guys, we're going to wrap this show up. Dan the dumbass, come back next week. We can have you on the show, too, if we want, because I think we're supposed to help special needs people. All right, guys. So for now, we're going to wrap the show up. For Dan, Steve, I'm Mike. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.